Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duck Bricks. I'm Chris.
And I'm Robert.
And we just got back from an incredible, almost life-changing trip to Billund, Denmark, the home of the LEGO Group, where we not only got a chance to tour around Legoland Billund and check out the incredible LEGO house, but also work with a ton of LEGO designers to create our own official LEGO set.
Absolutely. This was a fantastic trip.
Oh yeah.
We had so much fun, and of course, us Duck Bricks people, we filmed every second of it for you guys to watch.
Of course. And so, throughout this video, we'll be recapping our amazing trip to Denmark, talking about the process of making our set. No spoilers, of course. There's some details that we just can't talk about yet because you gotta wait and see to see exactly how the final set's gonna turn out. But of course, this was an amazing time. We cannot wait to share because not only did we just do this, we actually got a chance to see some of the special things to do in Billund that normally just as regular tourists, we would not have access to. So this was an insane trip. I cannot wait to tell you all about it, so let's start the vlog right now. Alright, I'm here to answer the burning question on everyone's mind. How was this LEGO set designed? So let's backtrack a little bit. This is the very first LEGO set ever released based off of a final winning build from LEGO Masters USA Season 4, which is the show where myself and Robert competed week after week until eventually we made a gigantic 8-foot by 8-foot airplane we called the World Wonderliner, and eventually we managed to win LEGO Masters. The prize involved this gigantic trophy, $100,000, having our build displayed in the New York flagship store, and more on that soon. But what was most exciting to me, even more than any of the other prizes, was the prospect that our final build would be converted into a LEGO set. And at first, I honestly had no idea how they were going to pull this off. Obviously, an 8-foot by 8-foot airplane might be a little out of people's budget and shelf space. I know it certainly isn't in mine. So I was really curious how the folks over at LEGO HQ were going to take our idea and our passion for travel and turn it into an actual LEGO set. Well, thanks to the incredible talents of LEGO designers Boone Langston, who himself competed on LEGO Masters Season 1, and Samuel Johnson, who headed up a lot of LEGO ideas when it was in its infancy, they worked together as the perfect team to take our idea and our love for travel and essentially transform it into a LEGO set. So here's how this process works. A couple of months after we finished filming, we got a really exciting call, and it basically said, hey, we've got some LEGO designers on the line and they're ready to show you something they've been working on. And oh my goodness, I find it hard to put into words what I was thinking, what I was feeling during this call. It was the very first time we were about to see prototypes of what our set was gonna look like. And Robert and I going into this had literally no idea what direction they were gonna take it. Were they gonna do a giant plane? Would it be micro scale? Would it be minifigure scale? Would it be maybe a giant box of bricks where you could build your own landmarks and put them on top of a plane? Or what? And I gotta say, we absolutely were not expecting what the set was eventually revealed to be, which is actually really exciting because they managed to take us by surprise. I had no idea they were going to take just the simple love for travel and convert it into a LEGO set that conveys that and so much more. So we hopped on call and we got a chance to meet the designers face to face over the computer, and they basically walked us through the ideation and design process for making this set. Where initially, they showcased some whiteboard sketches, big ideas of what they wanted the set to look like. There were some concepts where it was indeed a gigantic plane on a stand, but LEGO had just released the Concorde, LEGO had just done a big passenger plane, and maybe they were trying to figure out what other way can we build travel into the set. Then they showed us a really interesting concept that was just super sketched out on a whiteboard, very rudimentary, but it was just a little platform with a plane in the center and world landmarks on each side, and this served as the backbone of what the set was going to be. Eventually, as they continued to refine the set, they transformed the platform into a map of the world and got rid of the landmarks on the side because they basically figured that it would be a lot better to be focused on just the individual map and the plane and some vehicles around it. And with that, we then were presented with the very first prototype of what the set was going to look like. Now, mind you, this was only a couple months after we had actually filmed the finale, so it was honestly incredibly impressive at how quickly they were able to whip this together in Denmark. I genuinely was so impressed by how fast they worked. Typically, to make any Lego set, it can take up to a year to 2 years to make a single Lego set from ideation to execution for it to appear on store shelves. This was a lot faster. The finale aired in December, and the set is ready to go in August. That is maybe the fastest turnaround time for any Lego set potentially ever developed. So it was very cool to see the absolute real masters at work. I mean, Robert and I were Lego masters, but the designers in Billund, they are the real masters. I mean, if we're masters, they're grandmasters, because seeing them just take this concept of our love for travel and ideate and turn it into an Lego set was really, truly a magical experience. So on this first call, they presented us with the first prototype of the set. It was kind of this 3D render of a map that had a brown border around it, and they were initially looking into seeing, okay, well, maybe can we do a little bit of a nod to Lego Masters with a trophy on the front, or were we going to be exploring maybe some minifigures with a larger plane design with seats on the inside of the plane for figures? And over the course of this design process, over the next few months, we would continuously be drawn into video calls with the design team as they would present to us their latest updates on the design, and we could give our thoughts on what they were building. It really was like a collaborative process, but I definitely don't want to take away from the design work of the absolute legends in Billund, Denmark. All of the design is thanks to them. They were able to really just come up with the idea, the overall build of the set, and of course, Robert and I tried to weigh in where we could and give little suggestions here and there, but by and large, the set is all the credit to them, and I absolutely want to commend them for doing such an incredible job on this model. So after a series of meetings, they basically said, hey, we think we've come up with the final version of the set, or pretty much the final. The last one you saw in the last meeting, that one was pretty good. It was almost there, but there was one small issue we had to fix with the way that we built the border around the set to make it a little bit more stable. But we're not going to show you the final set now on this call. You're going to have to come to Billund, Denmark and work with us when we get to see the final model. And thus began, honestly, the trip of a lifetime. And I do not say that lightly. This was probably the most monumental trip I've ever taken in my life, and I have literally been traveling since I was 2 years old. I would go on an international trip 2 or 3 times every year from that age all the way up until now. So I've gone on a lot of trips around the world, and I've seen some truly incredible things. But personally, as somebody who is a lifelong Lego Group fan and a lifelong Lego set collector, somebody who is wanting to open up a museum one day dedicated to celebrating passion for building and encouraging the next generation of kids to get excited about creativity and solving problems out there in the world with Lego bricks and sets. Using Lego bricks to create sets is just a completely different world. So we were able to be flown out from Seattle, where I'm at, to Billund, Denmark, headquarters and home of the Lego Group, where we had probably the craziest 2.5-week experience I have ever had in my life. Now, we got actually really lucky because I had a different event for Lego Ambassador Network. It was the Fan Media Days event, and it literally coincided with this exact trip. And so, to everybody else in the outside world, Robert and I were in Denmark to attend Fan Media Days, which was true. We were there to attend Fan Media Days, but really this was all a cover for what we really were doing in Billund, which was working with the design team in the secretive innovation house in the heart of Denmark, in the heart of the Lego Group, to actually design this entire Lego set. So here's how this went. After spending an incredible week in Denmark, going to Legoland, the Lego house, experiencing Fan Media Days, all of that is going to be covered in a separate video because don't worry, I have so much vlog content from that trip to cover, and really I just wanted to focus this video on explaining how we made the Lego set. It eventually came time to film some content and to have our first meeting officially for Lego Masters in Billund. So bright and early, we got up and headed over to Lego Campus. Lego Campus is this building where all of the employees who work in Denmark essentially work and live day to day. And it is typically a building that isn't open to the public, so it was extra special being able to actually go into Lego Campus. I got a little Duckbricks badge printed, which was so cool, and be able to explore the campus. But of course, after exploring for a few hours and taking photos all around the campus, it then came time for the big meat and potatoes, the reason why we were there. We were about to be shown our Lego set for the first time. Now again, we knew what it was gonna kind of look like, right? We had seen prototypes, I knew it was gonna look like a world map and a little World Wonderliner plane alongside some small vehicles. But seeing small images on a computer screen of prototype models is very, very different than being presented with the physical model fully built in your hands right in front of you. So Rob and I sat down, we got a chance to actually do the clicker for actually starting the shoot for Lego Masters in Billund, and in walk Samuel Johnson and Boone Langston, wheeling a cart with them. A tarp is over the cart, so I can't even see what the model is. I can sort of see shapes, and we had to close our eyes. We literally closed our eyes as they laid out the set in front of us on the table, and there it was, the final model of Family Travel Moments right in front of us. There were some preliminary stickers being used for the decals. Not everything was 100% finalized, but for all intents and purposes, this was it. This was the official Lego set. And in that moment, I was completely overwhelmed. It was just so cool seeing something, even just a small piece of something that we had decided to factor into our final build in Lego Masters actually turn into an official Lego product. And going into the set, I immediately noticed some really cool things. One of the last minute decisions that Rob and I made while we were filming the finale of Lego Masters all the way back months before this was we decided to put the World Wonderliner text on the side of the plane. And we were trying to figure out what color worked best, and I think we had literally an hour left in the 24-hour build. And I said, you know what, just call it. We're doing vibrant coral. It's a big contrast from the blue of the plane and the white. Let's just do it. We have enough pieces. Go, go, go. So it was a very just split-second decision to use vibrant coral for the text of World Wonderliner on the side of our plane, but Boone and Samuel were actually inspired by the contrast and the color combinations it offered and started to use it as a bit of a highlight color, where not only was the text printed on the side of the plane World Wonderliner utilizing the same exact font that we brick built out of little Lego dots tiles, but they also used it as a highlight color for the smaller vehicles included in the set as well, to represent other forms of travel. A cruise ship, a bus, a train, a car, all sorts of different smaller ways to travel are peppered throughout the set, and they actually use that vibrant coral color, a last minute decision from our end, to really just bring those vehicles to life. And not to just pat ourselves in the back, but I was like, wow, that's actually a really cool color combination. It really does pop as an accent color, and I was really impressed to see how they had factored in that color into these micro builds. But that wasn't it, because the entire point of this set is that it is part of a new Lego theme initiative called Lego Family or Lego Build Together. And you can see on the box it says 1 to 5 build together. What that means is up to 5 people can build different parts of this set and combine it all into one model to complete it. So if you are a family of 5, you can have every single member of your family building a different section of the set. The map is divided up into 4 quadrants, and they're all color-coded on the inside, which means that you're all building a different component, a very different build for each of the 4 quadrants. 4 different people can build that, while the final person can choose to build the plane and the associated stand, as well as these really nice postcard and sticker holders on the back here. Then you bring the pieces all together to build the final model. And that was super cool because, well, there were 4 of us there. Me, Rob, Samuel, and Boone. So all 4 of us each got a chance to actually put together some pieces of the quadrant. They brought an extra copy over the set that we actually got a chance to build ourselves, stick them together, form the full world map, and we actually got the building experience there. I don't know if, maybe I'm being repetitive here, but I don't know if I can understate just how cool it was to walk into Lego HQ, to be presented with a Lego set based off of our idea, and then have the chance to build it with the people that designed it on camera and put it all together as one unit. That was just the coolest day ever, and I still will look back on that, I'm sure years from now, very fondly in terms of how that entire experience went. And over the course of this day, we got a chance to talk in detail to the designers and kind of pick their brains on how they decided to optimize the way the set was built and how they came up with the idea of the map. And they said something to us that really resonated with me. And what Boone had said was that they wanted to figure out a way to convey our passion for travel and our love for travel in a set that could be built with a family. LEGO Masters is all about people coming together and building. It's in a team of 2, so you're building with a teammate, but it's also you're building and competing against, but also in this environment of so many people who come from diverse parts of the world, who all have different backgrounds and experiences, but we're all there united by our love for the Lego brick and our love for building and our love for creativity. And I feel like LEGO Masters is all about building together. And so this was the perfect set to actually launch the Build Together initiative for LEGO, to actually allow families to come together and have individual people build one small bit of the model, but have them all put it together. So when they explained that, having it be a world map totally clicked for me. It totally made sense that you'd want people to build the individual quadrants, which was a super cool idea. And so they basically took the idea and the passion for travel and transformed it into a set that is not just the World Wonderliner. It's not just the plane. That is only a small part of the set. The entire set is themed around a passion for travel, and I thought that was so cool how they took our love and our passion and our ideas surrounding going out there and experiencing new cultures and translated it into a LEGO set. Of course, they had to showcase some little Easter eggs hidden throughout the set, and I'm not going to spoil all of them, but definitely for the folks who do get the set, stay on the lookout for this beautiful, transparent, opalescent satin 2x4 brick. The 2x4 Lego brick is such an icon of Lego, and that is hidden inside the model somewhere, and when I saw that, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So you're going to have to check out the set on August 1st to see where it's hidden, but I just thought it was super awesome to see that included in the model, and overall, it was just so cool being in that environment and getting a chance to talk to designers. Now I could talk all day about this process, but I'm gonna end with just telling one final story that Boone and Samuel told us that really stuck with me. And I feel like that gave me a much deeper appreciation for not just this Lego set, but every single Lego set that the company releases. He was telling the story of how they had the map fully built. It was pretty much done, and they essentially had it where they were undergoing some serious testing for the model. Lego sets go through pretty rough stuff. Maybe they could have the sun shine on them all day, or they might be in frigid cold temperatures, or they might be in super hot environments, and they basically have to design sets to accommodate for all these factors. So basically what they said is they took the Lego model of the world map and they threw it in this industrial oven. And they basically cooked it, like they literally cooked the Lego set and tried to figure out, well, how is this going to respond to extreme temperatures? If somebody living in an extremely hot environment buys this, mounts it on their wall, and there's a lot of outside light shining on it, is it going to be okay? And through this rigorous process, they realized that the way they had attached the 4 quadrants together, utilizing one particular plate, was just starting to warp a little bit, just a tiny little bit. It was starting to warp under the heat. And because of that, they had to completely change the overall design of just this overall top plate, swapping it out for some smaller pieces, threw it in the oven again, and it totally was good. That anecdote alone completely blew my mind, because I feel like that is a really good example of the amount of work and effort that goes into making a Lego set that the everyday consumer, like you and me, we'll buy a Lego set, we'll get a Lego set. I wouldn't even think twice about how much effort went into making sure that this Lego set is durable and holds up in every environment. But they went that extra effort, and I thought that was super commendable. I was super impressed when I heard that story. It's probably one of my favorite Lego set design stories that I've heard, because now I'm just picturing every single Lego set ever made just being cooked in an oven and pieces flying off and then them slightly tweaking the design to make it better. That is just a wild visual to have, and it's so impressive just how rigorous the quality control standards are at Lego. So overall, this was truly a special set, and putting it together was impossible without the incredible talents of Samuel Johnson, of Boone Langston, of Robert, and myself weighing in our inputs. And this is truly, much like the set itself, a build together set The set was built together. It is the culmination of all sorts of ideas and passions and concepts coming together to develop a set like this. So I'm really proud that we were able to put this out. It is still very surreal to say that we have a Lego set inspired by one of our ideas on the way. It's just so cool. And that about sums this up. Again, if you want to learn more about our incredible trip, I'll be putting out a separate vlog at some point soon to go over all the details of everything else that we did that wasn't just tied to LEGO Masters, but just being there in the LEGO campus. And then later on, we even got to go to the LEGO Innovation House, the top secret facility where LEGO designers make the newest LEGO sets, sit down with Boone, and even get a chance to chat with other designers along the way as we built our LEGO set. It was just such a surreal experience, and it's definitely something I'm never going to forget. So I want to say thank you so much to the LEGO Masters team, to the LEGO group team, to everybody who made this possible. Thank you to my teammate Robert, who was just thrown into the deep end of the LEGO world, who had built a couple of LEGO models with me, or at least watched me build in college, but hadn't really touched a ton of LEGO since he was a kid. For him to go from that to becoming an incredibly talented LEGO builder, learning on the fly in the show, and then coming to Billund with me and experiencing this, I'm just so grateful that he was down for all of this and happy to join along the ride. So if you're watching this, dude, thank you so much for being a great teammate on this journey. And I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about what it takes to actually make a LEGO set, from ideation to prototyping to execution and finally to the end result. You can actually go ahead and pre-order this set today, right now, at lego.com/legomasters, and you can check it out in your local LEGO store when it releases on August 1st, 2024. I know I'll be at my local LEGO store checking it out, so I hope to see you there. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into what it took to make family travel moments. All right, and with that, we have summed up our entire experience going to Billund, Denmark. What did you think, man?
Oh my god, first of all, I haven't been to Denmark before. This was actually my first time, and what a first time it was.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
So, what an incredible trip. Again, thank you so much to LEGO, to Fox, to LEGO Masters for making this a reality. I cannot wait for our set to hit store shelves, but until then, definitely stay tuned to Duckbricks for all of the updates about our brand new LEGO set. This was such a crazy experience. And thank you again to LEGO for making, honestly, my dreams come true, and I think yours as well.
Absolutely.
I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.